Hey everybody, welcome to Radwood. This feels a lot like Seattle weather. So I'm here at the event down here at Sonoma Raceway, and it is straight Seattle weather down here today. Hopefully this is going to pass a little bit, but man, what a beautiful area to have a car show in. I've got a nice view of the track. There's supposed to be some lemons racing going on here today, and there's already a lot of really great stuff here today, and I'm going to try to show you a bunch of it and try to stay dry and warm. So the wind has subsided a little bit. Hopefully I don't pick up too much of that in the microphone. So I left my gimbal at home, so I really can't show you guys all the cars here because it'll be super shaky and nobody wants to see shaky video. But I wanted to talk about a few. I'm just going to go through and show you guys some of my favorites from the show. And you have to pardon the hood because it is really, really windy here. It's like I'm kind of surprised. So I'm just going to walk you guys through some of my favorite standouts from the show and talk about them a little bit. So here's a couple that are super rad. Check these out. BMW guys came out. A whole wad of the 1600s, I think is what they are. So we got one that's a wide body. This one's flared. Then a stock one over there. Always been a big fan of that body style. Of course, there's a bunch of other 2002s here as well. There's one here that's done all up in Alpina style with the wheels and Alpina badging. 2002 guys definitely brought their A game out to Radwood this year. Way up here in the far end of the parking lot, another one that you probably haven't gotten to see for a while. Definitely a really cool car and something that was kind of forgotten about over time. Got a 200 turbo wagon. These things are really cool because they came stock with the 20 valve turbo. So it had the 5-cylinder 20 valve turbo motor, all-wheel drive, and a manual. And you know what, they were huge back in the day, but now these things, they don't really seem that big, which is kind of funny how big cars have gotten over the years. So this year Radwood is actually up on a hillside. Last year we were much closer to the paddocks and just basically right above it. Didn't have much of a view of the track, but from up here where the show is, you can actually see most of the track, which is actually pretty cool because they have a Lemons event going on right now. So check this out. So another car that you probably won't see very often at all is a Renault Le Car. And I'm not kidding you, they called it Le Car. It's a French car called Le Car. But French do things funny, like I went to France and they had Maison de la Vigne, which is house of wine. It sounds really awesome in French, but it's just house of wine. But this one's really cool. I think the guy that owns it now bought it from Richard Chen, who has all kinds of really cool cars. This one did some time with, I think it was at the original Concours de Lemons. So check this thing out. So these are actually pretty underappreciated little cars. A lot of them came with like a slider sunroof, which was pretty cool. So another little weird car that comes out to Radwood, Chevy Sprint Turbo. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these, but they were a 3-cylinder turbo that came out in the late 80s, I think 87 or 88. Yeah, it had an intercooler in it and everything else. It was pretty rad technology for back in the day. But they have like a super cool like Recaro Spectrum style interior in them. God, why don't they make cars this cool anymore? So here's a car that I have not seen in person in probably 20 years. I haven't seen one of these. It's a Fiat 128 Sport Coupe. So they made the Fiat 128 sedan, and then this one is actually a two-door two-door with a trunk version, and really a cool car that you just don't see anymore. All right, so this one is a weird little car, VW Fox. So a lot of you guys know the VW Fox. I want to say B2 platform car, but this one somebody has put on a really awesome set of Zender Turbo 2 wheels. Not too many people fix up VW Foxes. This one's got Corbeau seats in it and a bunch of other stuff. Zender rear wing. Got the rear window louvers. Very cool car that you just don't see too many of anymore. This one here is a Volvo 240 with a Volvo turbo swap in it. Really nice aftermarket wheels, and just a really cool classic green and gold paint job. I think it's the original green color with the gold wheels on it. I don't know too much about these turbo bricks, but this one's definitely got a great shape to it. I love the color combo on it. And of course it wouldn't be a complete show if I didn't talk about this car. It's a Delta Integrale with a little bit of mud on the side of it from driving in and out of here, but it's a Delta Integrale with Martini livery on it. I don't see how you can go wrong with that. That's really a pretty car there. Some of you guys that have been around the Volkswagen scene a long time in the Northwest will remember this car from shows way back in the day. The car's still around. The engine took a crap on the owner, but he rebuilt it better and stronger. He's actually shooting for like 200 horse. But I saw this car and I was like, man, I've seen this car before a long time ago. Turns out I think he got it from Oregon, so it's probably been to a lot of the shows around the Pacific Northwest. But good to see that car still hanging out and doing its thing and not in a junkyard somewhere. Another cool little car this year that I haven't seen in a long time, Fiat X19. These cars were rear engine, 1.5 liter, carbureted, but really well handling cars. And I haven't seen one of these in this condition in a long time. I don't think I've actually ever seen a Honda Beat in person. But man, these things are tiny. So this had a 660cc. It's basically a K car, but 660cc. Might be wrong, but around that 660cc. Rear-wheel drive, like mid-engine car. Definitely a small, neat little car that is now only recently like able to be brought into this country. So it's nice to see people bringing these things in, and I kind of want one. All right, so another cool car here, the Amc Eagle Wagon. Just barely made the cutoff for being in the rad era. My uncle had one of these when I was a kid, and I thought it was a weird but cool little thing, and it's still a weird but cool car. Four-wheel drive, inline six, definitely like the Outback before the Outback for sure. But man, this thing's in really clean condition. I don't think I've ever seen one of these in the past 10 years that looks as good as this one does. So they're tearing down. The show ended a little bit early just due to the weather. Apparently nobody in Northern California likes standing out in the rain, and it's actually been fairly cold. It's about 50 degrees and raining here, so it's pretty cold for California standards. So Radwood was still a lot of fun, even though the weather was kind of miserable. It's always good to catch up with the Radwood friends and all the people that I've met through Radwood. So it was a very long drive for a very short show, but it was still a lot of fun and worth coming down here for. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Check out Instagram. We got a bunch of pictures from the show on there. Also, if you haven't checked out Hello Road, Ethan does a lot of good work and covers a lot of the Radwood stuff too. So if you're interested, I'll put a link to his coverage on there. And that's it. Until next time, get out there and work on something.